Hello. Hi. How are you doing? John. I'm John. I just start off. John. That's the whole show. John. Just John. This is Jon Does. I do stuff. I talk about it. Welcome back. Forgive me. Well, you know what? Real quick. Before I get into all of that, before I vent about everything, don't forget to go to wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to support this channel. I got all kinds of cool stuff there. I got cool t-shirts, sweatshirts, sweaters, hoodies, zip-ups, socks. I got these cool tote bags. This is one of them. This one's called Lakeside. They're really durable polyester bags. They got these cool handles. You can get various colors for the handles. There's like red, yellow, and black, I believe. I think I need to order a couple more things for myself. Anyways, I like my art, so I wear it all the time. I'm wearing an old one right now, actually. This is an old album cover. It's really faded, but it's a buffalo. This is from my old shop. This one's not available anymore. But yeah, I'm always wearing my art. It's cool. I like it. I'm going to try to make some more art pretty soon. My goal is I have a lot of goals. I have a lot of stuff coming soonish. There's I think I've mentioned before, there's going to be the next thing that comes out, Wild Dinosaur related, is probably going to be, well, aside from this show and the little live jams that I've been doing, which there's a new one today. You guys are getting a third live jam from the living room when I had everything set up in there and filmed a bunch of them. I'm finally editing the last one. There's 4 of them. Actually, there's a total of 5, but there's 4 with me and Pat. And so you're getting the second one today, which is maybe one of my favorites. We'll talk about that later. So I have aside from this stuff, the live streaming stuff, I have school, which is this week is a little rough on me with school. So forgive me for not having a I don't know. I've been needing to write a lot, and I kind of got hung up on some dumb thing from one of my classes for the last couple of days. That's really taken up a lot of brain space, and that's my own fault. But so this episode, it starts. I'm gonna babble for a little bit in the front. It's gonna feel like one of my week when I was going 5 days a week and I didn't really have anything to talk about. Might feel a little bit like that at times, but I hope you stick around because there's so much stuff going on. There's really a lot of stuff going on, and in the end of the show, I like to do. Before I do the live stuff, I like to have it as a music section, so we talk about something music related. There's a new King Gizzard record. I haven't finished. I honestly haven't listened to much of it yet today. Again, it's been kind of a rough week for me when it comes to doing stuff. I have 2 midterms this Monday and Tuesday. And I have a 10-page script that's due. So those are 2 of my big projects that I have going on. So I've been trying to focus on those. Anyways, what was I saying? I was saying something of relevance. Oh yeah, it's just been a long week, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And so the plan is, once things start clearing up a little bit, finish up this New Pants record, and that'll probably be the next thing that comes out. And so as I have music to put out, maybe music videos, I'm not sure yet. I definitely have another comedy sketch coming soon. You might have heard me say a little bit about it. I actually filmed it, and then there was some corrupt file stuff, so I have to reshoot it, and The biggest problem is securing the location because it was in an office, and I gotta do it again. But anyways, that'll be coming soon. So I want to get some stuff together and tidy up the website a little bit. Have some new links for the new pants music that's coming soon, and maybe links to the comedy stuff. Maybe even links on the website to this playlist, the Jon Does playlist. The website, I love my website. Don't get me wrong, but it's time to start cleaning it up a little bit. I think I've had the website for over a year now, and I got more stuff coming, and I want to give you guys more design options too. Which, forgive me for not being able to. With all the other stuff that I'm doing, directing and music and stuff, not doing more designs. It's been a while since I've really tried to do some stuff. I Photoshop here and there, but haven't done anything worthy of, putting on a t-shirt or anything in a while. And I would really like to make... I'll settle for one new design, but if I can get a couple, that'd be cool too. So maybe give my buddy Jay a couple hours of work too, if he's up for it. He's the one that helped me put the website together. So Wednesday's episode, there was some big news that happened with DC, and there's a lot of moving pieces to that news. I'm gonna start off. There's two trailers that I'm going to talk about today, and I might babble about some of the other auxiliary things like the James Gunn news, not to rehash it, but like there's things that are related to some of the stuff coming out, because the two trailers that I have I didn't get to talk about last week too much. Cool. Sorry, I just got a text message. Cool. Guess who? It's Pat. He's not coming on today, unfortunately. But we are going to grab some food afterwards. So the first trailer that came out, which was buried like 45 minutes later, because the James Gunn news, was the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. I knew this was coming for a while, and I knew they were filming it sometime around when they were filming Guardians 3, like maybe in the mid. I don't know if it was in the middle of it or whatnot, but this actually looks pretty cute, I will say. Yeah, that's why there's James Gunn talks around this, because if you're not familiar, James Gunn directs or has directed the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and he's doing the third one. Long story short, he got fired for some tweets a long time ago. There was a huge petition to bring him back after he already made a deal to do the Suicide Squad with DC. So there's been a back and forth. And now James Gunn is going to be running DC. He's going to be one of the co-chairs running DC, but not before he finishes up his Marvel contract. And he's got about another 6 months left. His DC contract starts November 1st, but he still has the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special that I think he directed, and Guardians 3 coming out May, I think in May, something like that. And so he still has like work to do for Marvel. But this trailer came out, the Christmas special, and it's cute. I think one thing that I'm really appreciating about the fact that Marvel can do, they've got, they've done series, their whole movie franchises, multiple movie franchises, because Marvel is a lot of franchises built into one property, essentially. All the series. I really like the fact that they can do stuff because of the streaming service, Disney Plus. I really like the fact that that we're getting these specials, special presentations as they're called. Like, you know, this comics, they're paralleling comics very well. Sorry, I'm again, I'm stumbling over words today. I'm sorry. It's been a long week for me. I've been writing and I've been stewing over dumb stuff from school, and trying to get some other stuff done. Anyways, this trailer, if you guys haven't seen it, it takes place after, it's probably going to be, you know, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, like Werewolf by Night, which is one of my favorite of the Marvel Phase 4 properties so far. It's top 3, I think, for me, for sure. But I do like that these specials are happening, because it gives you those little tiny peeks into in between the big events, you know, in between Endgame and Guardians 3. We get a little bit, well, we've seen a little bit with Thor Love and Thunder, but we get a little bit more of, like, they were kind of there. Obviously Thor's with them at the end of Endgame, but they were in Love and Thunder, they're just kind of there. There's not really like too much growth or emotional connection to them being a part of the group, and they're gone pretty quick. And so this will give us a little bit more, you know, idea of how they're dealing with things, you know. We're still catching up with all the, you know, all the original characters post Endgame. Getting Black Panther in like a week or two, which I keep forgetting about that movie because I'm really excited. That sounds counterintuitive. I'm really excited for it. I want to be really excited for it. Phase 4 has tampered some of my expectations, but I do hear good things about it. I'm trying to reserve as much judgment, because, you know, you always hear these after the red carpet, usually before before they hit any of these movies hit theaters, there's like, this might be the best Marvel movie, and it's like audience score of like a 3, you know, like a month or two later. So I'm just trying to tamper my expectations, but Black Panther, I am excited for. And I'm really ready to move into Phase 5, and I'm ready for Guardians 3, which actually was supposed to be a lot earlier, because of James Gunn firing. I think Guardians was supposed to be the beginning, or close to the beginning of Phase 4. And yeah, so they've moved things around a bit, and now we're getting this holiday special, which is cool. So it's really a one-off story. You see the whole crew essentially in it, but it does really seem like it's going to be Drax and Mantis's show, if you will. And that's okay. I really, well, I'll get into opinions about the overall Guardians franchise in a minute, but the plot of this is, Peter's sad, so they go to Earth, which we haven't really, at the end of Endgame, they're on Earth, because we always forget that big destroyed piece of land where the whole final battle of Endgame takes place is like North State New York, or upstate New York. You know, it's the Avengers facility where all of that happens. And so the Guardians have been to Earth, recently, but we haven't really seen them in our Earth or reality. And you do, Drax and Mantis are trying to do something nice for Star-Lord, Peter Quill, because he's still upset about losing Gamora, which Guardians 3 is all about the search for the variant Gamora. Excuse me. That's how I feel. This is how I feel right now. so yeah, they're looking for Gamora. Peter's feeling sad, so they decide to do something for him. So they try to go. They go to Earth to get him a Christmas present, and that Christmas present is Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon, the actor, Kevin Bacon, is now canon in the MCU. Which does that mean? Sebastian Shaw from the X-Men First Class? I'm not trying. I'm not trying to go there with that. I'm not saying that there's a connection. I think it's funny to tease these things, but at the same time, like, no, Kevin Bacon can just be Kevin Bacon within. Another one that would have been cool is Kurt Russell, but they already had Kurt Russell in Guardians too. Man, that would have been a really fun one had they recast or had gone a different route with Guardians 2, and then if they'd done this holiday special with Kurt Russell, like Kurt Russell, not like the ego version of Kurt Russell, but like Snake Plissken version of Kurt Russell. Oh, that would have been awesome. I should do a breakdown or a full-on like love letter to the Escape From movies. I love both of those movies so much. Even Escape from LA. I love that one for very different reasons than the first one. But it's great. It's great. I should. It's just a bunch of John Carpenter movies that are super, super awesome. That aren't the standard ones. The John Carter movies that I like are not the ones that other people like as much. But yeah. Anyways, I think I'm trying to become a better horror fan. I don't really like horror very much. There's some good horror movies, but I don't know. I like hokey, cheesy 80s dumb stuff. Like Escape from New York for sure. Yeah, all right. So the holiday special looks cute. The first shot actually is like a shot of Peter Quill. It's a quick shot of Peter Quill in the trailer, and I actually thought this was like a behind the scenes thing when it first started, just because the lighting looked like it was like behind the scenes kind of lighting, not like a scene of a show or movie or anything. But yeah, this looks cute. I'll probably check it out. We do have a larger Groot now. He's like baby face, but he's like Vin Diesel body. He's like well, I shouldn't say Vin Diesel body. Groot is tall. Yeah, so we've kind of gone back to the almost the same scale as the first Guardians movie with Groot. What else is there? Kevin Bacon. Yeah, and Groot. I think there's one other thing I'm probably missing, but I'm gonna move on because there was a trailer I preferred a little better, and this like I said, Black Panther I've been kind of forgetting about, kind of on purpose, just to not. I don't know. When I see, this is actually the first time I've watched TV spots in a while, just because I'm like, oh, cool. There's a scene from Black Panther, whereas like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was like, nah, I just stopped after the final trailer. I'd watch one or two trailers and then kind of quit. But But yeah, Black Panther is getting me a little bit more excited. But the one that I'm really excited for that's coming real soon is the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania movie coming out in February. And I actually don't know if this is an official poster. I really liked it and I grabbed it. Forgive me for not double checking to see if this was a legit poster. I think it is, though. I think it is. Again, a busy week for me. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I put a lot of work actually more into the Wednesday episode. That was well, not episode. I didn't put more work in. I just had a lot more to say. That was the big news, really. And I did gloss over stuff, which is why we're backtracking a little bit with these trailers that came out earlier in the week or last week. So yeah, the Ant-Man trailer came out, and this is cool because Ant-Man has the first two Ant-Man movies were like palate cleansers. They were like just kind of fun heist movies, comedic heist movies set between big movies. I forget when the first Ant-Man came out, but the second one came out between, was it between Infinity War and Endgame? I think it was. And yeah, and so they're just like kind of palate cleanser movies. But this movie is like this. It seems like this is going to be like the Civil War, where the stakes are raised drastically for this crew. And sorry, when I say Ant-Man 2 Quantumania, what I really mean is Spy Kids 9. I didn't put the graphic up there. I didn't make the graphic. I'm sorry, but I know there's all the jokes of there's that shot at the end of the trailer with Scott and Ant-Man and Wasp, and then I don't know what she's gonna go by, if she's gonna go by Stature or whatnot. But Cassie Lang, Scott's daughter, is a big role in this, and she suits up in the trailer, and yeah, it looks kind of like the Spy Kids. Spy Kids 2. But no, this looks great. I'm excited. It's hard to say anything bad about Paul Rudd. I mean, you don't want to say anything bad about Paul Rudd because the way that he continues to look the way he does is by draining the life force out of critics online. So I don't want to say anything that's gonna attract Paul Rudd to my house and drain my blood and life force. Although my life would feel complete, like it's amounted to something, if that was the case. Unfortunately, I think I have things to accomplish before I allow Paul Rudd to just take my life force from me. But it'll probably happen one day. You'll. This might sound a little morbid, and I'm sorry, but you'll know I'm over life when I just start trashing Paul Rudd, because then oh dude, yeah, he's trying to get his life force drained from Paul Rudd. I keep saying that, Paul Rudd, life force, Paul Rudd. Yeah, this looks like a pretty epic Marvel movie. Yeah, it does look like it's got some of the same kind of regurgitated visual tone that maybe some of the other Marvel movies had. But I'm actually kind of excited to get back there. Dang, excuse me. I'm excited to get back there. I'm excited to get back to the tone. And I keep hearing people say some of these early reviews is Black Panther's tone is there. It's serious and heartfelt and whatnot, but it also I've been hearing it goes back to not the She-Hulk of it all, but it's got the feel of like a Black Panther, a bigger movie, than some of the Disney Plus stuff we got. You guys probably heard me talk about that for a while, so I don't want to rehash my thoughts too much on the Disney Plus stuff. I'm sure that'll come up again at some point. I didn't replace my Dark John commercial tonight. Oh well, we'll just do the 40-second commercial. You know what? Maybe we'll just do the 15-second commercial. No, I'm gonna need the 40. Sorry. I'm not doing the commercial break yet. I'm just talking out loud. Sorry. Bill Murray is popping up in Ant-Man and Wasp. I know Marvel is a bit redundant for a lot of people. I'm still really digging it for the most part. It's entertaining. I do reach for it whenever there's a new thing on. It was cool to see that Janet, the Wasp character, in the comics, she not to be that guy, but a lot of the times in the comics she's got like the pixie cut haircut, or like short haircut. And she's got that in this one. Because in the first one, didn't she had like a bob or something like that, and then her hair was long in the second one. Her hair's look good in all of them. I'm not trying to be that guy or anything, but it's just cool. I noticed that her hair was like the comic haircut, and I was like, oh, that's neat. That's neat. I mean, it doesn't bother me when it's long or anything like that. I mean, Evangeline Lilly is a gorgeous woman, so whatever she does is all right by me. With her hair, that is. I understand that there's like some anti-vax behavior on her end, but whatever. I don't know. To be honest, I don't really pay attention to that crap anymore. Unless, well, of course, we've been hearing about one particular billionaire. Actually, no, we've been hearing about a lot of billionaires lately, but there's one guy, I'm sure you're guessing, that has been talking a lot, has lost quite a bit of money over the words that he says. That's just been such big news, it's hard to miss. Sorry, back to Quantumania. I sound so unenthusiastic about this. I'm actually really excited about this movie. February can't come soon enough. I really can't wait to see Jonathan Majors pop back up in the MCU. He was great in the Loki series. He's great in pretty much everything I've seen him in. I did watch Lovecraft Country when that was out on HBO, and I really liked that. I was bummed that it's not getting more, but we're getting Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror in the multiversal saga. It's kind of crazy. To be quite honest. What else did I see him in? I did watch that Creed trailer a week or two ago. I've never been the biggest Rocky fan, so I this is just not really my movie, so I didn't really comment on it. But dude looks like jacked, like the most jacked I've ever seen a person in an actor, I should say, not necessarily. I mean, he's on the level of like people that, shoot, I don't even know, who spend their lives doing that to themselves, just being like muscle bound beefcakes. Beefcake, Sasquatch. I don't know what. It's from, I think it's the Sasquatch beef jerky, right? Anyways, I don't know what I'm doing with my life right now. I apologize for all this babbling. I do have points to all of this. The Ant-Man and the Guardians trailer are just kind of cool. I'm less excited about the Guardians holiday special, but I'm sure I'll watch it and be like, oh, that was fun. There's a lot of stuff that I'd like to catch up on right now. I actually watched that Enola Holmes movie when the first one came out and thought that was cool. And I'll probably check out that second one that just came out on Netflix. Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill as Sherlock Holmes and Enola Holmes. I think Helena Bonham Carter's in it in this second one. Yeah, it looks. There's stuff I need to catch up on. There's stuff that I had a list of shows to watch and a couple of movies, and I had to throw it away. It's not happening anytime soon. I do keep going back to I have never started Reservation Dogs. That one seems really good that I just never got around to. And these last 2 seasons of Atlanta I haven't watched. And I know there's tons of stuff I'm forgetting. I was actually going through HBO or Netflix the other day. Because there's a bunch of shows on Netflix I've watched over the last handful of years and didn't realize there was second seasons that came out or whatever. Some anime stuff. I'm not the biggest anime guy, but there were some cool ones. It was like, was it Dragon Blood or something like that? And then there was Dota. And those were cool. And then they've subsequently had like 2 or 3 seasons that I've missed out on. So I was going through and making a list on Netflix, because I actually realized I don't do that with streaming services. I don't make lists or queues or anything like that for like what I want to watch next. So I'm just trying to get a little bit more organized about like stuff that looks interesting. And just definitely holding out for Dragon Blade 2. It was only made like 7 years ago, so there's still time. Sorry. I keep sidetracking from the Ant-Man stuff. It's cool. This trailer looks cool. It's one of the Marvel's always going to try to get us excited. I'm excited about this. I think this will probably have larger implications. Dang, I'm sorry, I'm yawning so much. I'm not bored by you guys or anything. I'm looking forward to like movement in the next two phases of Marvel. I think that's why I'm really excited about this, is because there's been some cool stuff in Phase 4, but there's been a weird balance to me, and even though I'm looking forward to Black Panther, and it's definitely going to do some world building, I feel like it's probably not as much like arc building as maybe Quantumania seems like, because Kang's the big bad. I don't think we're getting too much Kang crossover stuff in Black Panther. I feel like they've got they're introducing Namor and a whole war between Atlantis and Atlanta, Georgia, and Wakanda, because it's Wakanda versus Atlanta, Georgia. That's what we're saying. It's Atlantis versus Wakanda. And there's, I've heard some rumors about things. I don't know if they're true or not. Like Fantastic Four characters popping up here or there. I don't know if any of that's true or not. But just the arc that we're presented with about Black Panther seems like a really good story, but also maybe doesn't dive into what the next two phases are so much, even though this is capping off Phase 4. But yeah, I'm excited. I've been really excited for Ant-Man Quantumania since they announced it a while ago. All right, let's do it. Let's go to a commercial break real quick. And when we come back, we're going to talk about... I do wish Pat was here for this, because Pat attended this concert with me, which was the second to the last night at the Hollywood Palladium, October 22nd, to see Mars Volta. And so we'll talk about that. And then I have a live jam for you guys coming up at the end of the show. So stick around. I'll be back in about 40 seconds.
I'm Richard's Pet Wedding Facilities, and I give these stickers away at every pet wedding. The kids love them too. This bag from, what's his name? Wild Dinosaur? Weren't they all wild? Why not oxymoron? Anyways, I like to put my special things in this bag. Plus, I'm pretty sure this is my spirit animal.
Life gave me lemons, so I sold them for this sweet baseball tee. All right, go to wilddinosaur.com, buy some stuff. I'm broke. I need new underwear. I need lots of things. I need some therapy. You know what? Buy some Wild Dinosaur merch, because it will help my mental health. For real. All right. You've heard me talk about Mars Volta a bit. They released a new record recently, and I was really excited, really excited when I heard they were going on tour. The first record in a decade, first tour in a little over a decade, I think. I am a Mars Volta fanboy. I I knew who At the Drive-In was, but when I was in high school, I remember, who was it? It was, I had a teacher in, was it elementary school, and then her husband was one of the PE teachers. Dowden. Was it Dowden? I think it was Dowden. One of the PE teachers. Yeah, and then their son was like my age and was in my grade, went to the same high school. And I remember him wearing like At the Drive-In shirts and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, who's that band? And never really got into them much. Got into them a little bit through skate videos, because that's where I got most of my music tastes when I was younger. Well, not most, but a lot. There's a fair amount of other influences, or sources of influences, I should say. So I caught a little At the Drive-In when I was in high school, but it wasn't really until I moved to college. I was living in the dorms in Chico. They're the off-campus dorms, Craig Hall. I was living in Gordon Hall, which they have switched the names on those buildings a couple of times, so it's not Gordon Hall anymore. But I lived in Gordon Hall, and I had a roommate named Omar. Not Omar from Mars Volta at the drive-in. And he introduced me to Mars Volta for the first time. So I was introduced to Mars Volta through Omar. That's what I tell people. Been a big fan since. It kind of blew my mind. I was coming out of my like Led Zeppelin phase. And I play guitar, and I just started playing guitar. So I was like really into riffs and stuff like that. And I was like, these riffs are awesome. And in my head, it was like a modern version of like a Led Zeppelin Santana mix thing, but with a lot more like science fiction edge to it. And I was just taken by the Mars Volta. And I've not been like through the early 2000s, I did not become like internet culture person. It's become more recent in my life that I've paid attention to like the online culture stuff more and whatnot. So I never really went into like when I was in high school, I'd go into like rollerblader message boards and stuff like that, but that was maybe the extent of it. I never did anything like, I have a Reddit account now. I go on Reddit. You can find Wild Dinosaur on Reddit. But I don't really do that much, you know. It's even still, I've opened myself up a little bit, but I didn't spend a lot of time in like forums, message boards, or anything like that. But I was there for a lot of the, you know, Mars Volta being this amazing prog rock band, and then after like record 3 or 4, people starting to be like, this isn't the same band anymore. And it's like, yeah, you gotta let art be art, and art can progress. Art should progress. Art should mature. Artists should mature over time. And I've loved Mars Volta because I felt like the way that their music, whenever they released music, it always felt like in a similar progression of where I was at. 10 years ago, they put out their last record called Nocturnicate, which is my second favorite record of theirs. I haven't really evaluated my favorite record with the new one. I did a tier list a while ago. I really like this new record a lot. I just don't know where I have it on my list yet. I think I needs to sink in a little bit more for me. It's not like my least favorite or anything like that. I just haven't considered the whole ranking, but whatever. It's besides the point, because their last record, Nocturnicate, I loved it so much because I was going through a pretty rough breakup. I had a complicated relationship with a person for a really long time, and there was a couple of songs that really like were kind of breakup songs where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to this song on repeat for like 3 months and cry about it. And actually, you know, hold on, let me pull up the track list of Nocturnicate. What am I doing? I'll open up Spotify. Yeah, because I'll let you know what songs I used to think about my look, all music really can have that nostalgia. um you hear a song and it takes you back to where you were at a certain time and place. And empty vessels make the loudest sounds. That was a song I used to sing. I actually used to play that song too. But I love this record so much, and I never got to see them tour it. But also, like, I could feel there was this, especially with In Absentia, there was this like electronic noise thing happening, and I was personally shifting some of my music taste less like heavier rock and more electronic stuff, which I feel like I've got like a weird balance of that now. I feel like, but almost every record that they put out like felt like a parallel to where I was at in my life too. So they've just always meant so much. Man, I was really bummed to hear that they had broken up. It was such a devastating thing for me, but I did know that they would probably keep making music in various aspects because, or with various members, because that's just who they were. And I was right. They did. Omar put out like, oh my god, in that period of Mars Volta being done, I don't know the number, but there's like 60 or plus records or something like that he put out, like solo records. I love some of them. There's a lot of them I actually, at a certain point, I kind of just stopped. They were coming out like in such bulk or like so frequently that I was like, I can't keep up. And there's still some I haven't listened to yet, but my favorite, just real quick, my favorite non-Mars Volta Omar record that could have been a Mars Volta record is Cryptomnesia. You should look that record up. If you're a fan of Death Grips or the band Hella, familiar with the drummer Zach Hill, he does drums on that record along with the touring bass player Jonathan Hishke. It's a really good record. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, so as you can tell, they've just meant, like I keep saying, they've meant a lot to me over the years, as a lot of bands or certain musicians can do for people, and they're probably of my generation, they're my favorite band. I really, really like King Gizzard a lot, and they're coming up there. They've got way more music. They got so much more music than Mars Volta. Because Mars Volta only has like 7 or 8 records or something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but King Gizzard's got like fucking 30 years. No, more than that. I don't remember. I don't remember the number, but they got a pretty big discography. And so Pat and I got tickets a while ago when they first went on sale to see them at the Hollywood Palladium. I'd never been to the Palladium before. There's honestly, for somebody who likes music, loves music as much as I do, I have been to, this is a weird comparison thing. So like my brother has talked about, like, I've been to like hundreds of concerts, and I'm like, I've been to like 20. I don't go to concerts very much, but I also I was couldn't afford to do stuff for a really long time. I've been able to do more now, but when I could, I would go see something, and I've never really liked festivals much. I always like to like immerse myself in one thing. So if Mars Volta was going to play a singular show, I'd go to that, as opposed to like, I should maybe do a talk about this, because this is a controversial thing for somebody my age, but I never wanted to go to Burning Man. Never. It was not even an interest, an inkling of an interest at all. I've had a lot of friends that are Burning Man people go to Burning Man, and they're always like, you would love it so much, you'd like thrive out there. And I'm like, I don't think you know me very well. I don't want to spend a week with like 50,000 people in the desert. If I go to the desert, I want to go with like 4 or 5 people and like take some acid, do my own little thing out there and have my own little powwow. I'm not here to have the conversation of is Burning Man cool or not. It's just never been anything I wanted to do. And so like I would prefer to the first Mars Volta concert I ever went to. I've seen them twice. Sorry, I've seen them more than twice. I've seen them. This is my fourth time. I've seen Bosnia and Rainbows twice, and I saw Omar play. Omar opened one of his many projects. He opened for Primus, also in Berkeley. I've seen Omar in Berkeley like 4 or 5 times. The first show I ever saw was at the Berkeley Performing Arts Center in Berkeley, California, and that is not a theater I expected because it's basically the gym for the high school. It was fucking awesome. I would spend $60 to go see one show like that, then $200 or $300 for a week in the desert where I have to figure out my whole like living situation and food and water and all that stuff. Again, I'm not trying to tell you Burning Man is or isn't cool. I'm just saying this is my thought process. And so, I don't know, in comparison to like how many shows other people have seen, I feel like I haven't seen as much, but I have seen the shows that I've needed to see. And when I had seen them previously, both the Berkeley shows were phenomenal. They're phenomenal shows, but personality-wise, sometimes you go to a concert and you got the front man like talking to the crowd between tracks and whatnot. Mars Volta was not that band. They maybe every once in a while there'd be like a little thing that Cedric would say, but a lot of the times it was like poetry, and it was like an interlude part of a song, or it would carry from sometimes he would just like do poetry that would be like a bridge between songs, but there wasn't like I don't know, it would just be like a fluid show. It would be very consistent. They had a lot of energy, and they just went, and they don't really do encores, and that's cool. I want to go see them. I want to feel the energy. I want to feel what they're into and what they're giving out, and then I want to go home. And this tour was way more personal. There's a long story about things that have happened for various bandmates. Their original keyboard player unfortunately passed away a handful of years ago when he was on tour with Jack White in Mexico. And then one of their bass players, he wasn't the original, but he was a long-standing bass player in the band, Juan Alderete, who was in Racer X in the 80s. He was his friends Paul Gilbert and stuff like that. Been in the rock industry for decades at this point. Great bass player. I've also heard there's some like personal issues with them, but in the last handful of years, this was before COVID, I think it was. Juan got in a biking accident. He rides bikes, not motorcycles, but bicycles. And he got in a biking accident, and he had a like massive brain injury, which I still don't think he's like fully recovered from. I do see him every once in a while, and it was unfortunate. It's unfortunate for a lot of reasons. Juan's seemingly a really good bass player and probably a really cool guy. I mean, you should never hope anybody gets messed up like them. But one of the other things that it was kind of a bummer at the time too was he was doing a YouTube channel called Pedal and Effects. For somebody like me who likes music gear, they would just go over like various effect pedals and stuff like that for guitar or bass. And he had guests on, and then he ended up working with Nick Reinhardt for a while, who plays in Termalos, who's a really interesting guitar player. He's a really fascinating person. There was a like Show Us Your Junk that came out recently with him. It's like an hour long. It was really good. Anywho, All good. All good. We're getting to the end of the show. And I haven't even talked about the concert yet itself. So Pat and I got to LA. We walked around for a while. I ate a bunch of gummies. It was great. I had a religious experience at this concert. All of the band's history is part of my history. I wasn't there for a lot of stuff, but I'm a fan and I've absorbed this, and I've been there with them through some of this turmoil emotionally, as I've felt turmoil through my life. And they've been hugely inspirational to my art as well too. So Terry Genderbender, at one point I understood that her and Omar were dating. I'm not sure if they are or not. It's kind of besides the point, but she is an entertainer. I've seen her a handful of times. She was the singer in Bosnian Rainbows, which I kind of hope they do. I hope they do another record too. I really liked Bosnian Rainbows. It was like Omar's Susie and the Banshees for me. Omar and Terry's, it felt like Susie and the Banshees, kind of, not totally. I don't know. It felt like that, like contemporary could have been, not as like new wavy, but anyways, Terry was great. Her show, or her set, was straight to the point. Actually not long enough, to be quite honest. I could have done with one or two more tracks. Yeah, I'm a fan of hers. I haven't liked all of the Les Butcherettes records. There was a couple. It's been a while since I've actually dove into those, but Bosnian Rainbows, I loved that. I loved Bosnian Rainbows, and this opening set that she did, accompanied by two of Omar's brothers, I believe, in the band. Just they rocked. It was. If you're familiar with Terry Genderbender's music, it was very standard, but it was so good. The sound was great. I actually have a little bit of a connection with somebody who did sound for Terry. I'm not hang out with them much, but I have tried to start some dialogue recently. I've known them for. Not known them, but my older siblings worked at the Warehouse Music, and this person worked at the Warehouse Music with them. So they were over at my house when I was younger and whatnot, and they ended up working with Omar and Cedric for a long time now, actually. I've never really, I've always been too afraid to, fanboy out, to, really hang out with them much, but the sound sounded great, John, by the way, if you're listening. And then Omar and Cedric came on, and they just fucking blew up. They played songs. So the first time I got to see them was shortly after I was introduced to them through my old roommate Omar, and it was around the Francis the Mute record, and so I didn't hear them play some of my favorite songs from the first record. They played some of the standards, which were great, but at the time, one of my favorite songs was Televators, which is like the acoustic-y one towards the end. And this time I got to hear it, and oh man, it was probably the gummies, but also they took me back to a place in my life that was a little bit more, how do I say this? I'm old now. It took me to a place where I felt like the world was still, I could still conquer the world, It was really awesome to kind of go back to those feelings. You're never too old, I always tell myself that, but yeah, it really took me back to a lot of emotional places, and the band has been in a lot of places, and they were emotional too. Cedric did address the audience, the fans. They did introduce the whole band. There's a couple of new members. Philo on drums is one of my favorite of Mars Volta drummers. John Theodore, the original drummer, and Blake Fleming were two of my favorites, and I think pardon me, I think they're non-binary, or they go by they them. They are in the top 3 best drummers that Mars Volta's ever had. They were precise and loud. It was like the energy of a John and Blake with the touch, if that makes sense, of like John was it Thomas Pridgeon. Phenomenal drummer. I hope they have a future with this band. I hope this band has more of a future. And then I'm sorry, I didn't catch the keyboardist, Leo something. Fucking amazing. That's one of those like proggy jazzy keyboard players that you would see in like Santana, like a older Santana. He's amazing, and he's got giant cousin it hair. Is amazing. On bass, like I said before, the bass player that had been with them the longest was Juan Alderete. But this tour, they actually have their original bass player, Ava Gardner, she was fucking on it. She was great as well. She, the only other, I know she's had a big career since the original Mars Volta formation. But the only tour, like other big creator she has toured with that I know of is, I think she was just Pink's bass player for a long time. But she kicked fucking ass. I really hope this lineup stays consistent. And then it was oh my gosh, is it Marcel? I'm sorry, I don't know all of Omar's brothers' names. There's like 4 or 5 of them, I think, something like that, and I just forget. Marcel's one of them. I forget. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think it's Marcel that's on it. Eureka the Butcher, Zach Marquis. Oh man, Zach Marquis. That was a good show. I saw that. Saw them at the Troubadour like 2013, I think, something like that. With another band that I've really liked. They are no longer together. The guitar player left to form a band called All Twins, which I'm not sure if they're doing much anymore. But the band was Adibisi Shank. The Troubadour. Zach Marquis Adibisi Shank show was great. So yeah, this Mars Volta show, I really hope they do another tour. And if they do another tour, I hope they find a way to play stuff that they weren't previously able to play much of. They never really played much from the Nocturnicate record, although they did play Empty Vessels when I was at the show, another song I cried at. They played Televators and Empty Vessels. What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you just trying to turn me into a puddle? There was so much. I'd heard somebody say during an interview, it might have been Cedric, or Cedric's wife had said something to him about, like, I'm not sure what I want to do, if I want to dance or cry to this record. And that's what this show was. That's what this tour was. I've been reading a lot of people talking about various aspects of the legs of the tour, and it sounds like everybody had such a really good time. With the band. You know, you go to a show, there's probably some drunk asshole somewhere getting in the way or puking on the floor or whatever. But and you know, when we were at the show, I did meet one couple. I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names. The guy was Greg, and they drove from like Lake Elsinore, I forget where, I'm so sorry, Greg, if you're listening. You're probably not, but if you're listening, I appreciated hanging out, talking with you. I gave you some stickers, if you remember. I gave you a sticker pack. Also, if you go to wilddinosaur.com and you purchase something off the store and you take a picture of it when you get it and you tag me and you post it on Instagram and tag me in it, I'll send you one of these sticker packs that I gave Greg. It was great. It was great. He asked me, he was like, is this fentanyl? And I was like, no. He's like, is there acid? And I was like, no, they're just stickers. And he was like, okay. Anyways, I hope you liked your stickers. But, yeah, anyways, I'm going to get going. But this Mars Volta show was great. Again, I hope they do another tour. And I hope they are able to play more stuff that they didn't get to play before. And specifically stuff off the new record. I would like to hear some more Nocturnicate. I would love to see a live version of In Absentia. I've seen one online somewhere, but I never saw them play it. But yeah, anyways, if you get a chance to see Mars Volta, if they go on tour, I really hope this is not the end for them. It doesn't seem like it is. It would be cool if they maybe, I don't know, in a year or something like that, went on another tour and they were able to do more, like I'm saying, some of the new stuff or stuff that they hadn't done before, and then put out another record. I really don't want to see Mars Volta break up again. It was too emotional. It was too positive and too emotional, this tour. And again, the sound was great. The Palladium is awesome. Again, that was my first time at the Palladium. I hope to see some other shows there. I was really bummed because the Garden came through beforehand. There's two bands that came through LA that I didn't realize had come through, and I missed. There was I always butcher the name, Autoboke Beaver. They're Japanese like girl punk band. They're fucking rad. And then the Garden. They're from Santa Ana or Orange. I think they're from Orange, or the city of Orange. So I probably will get a chance to see them again, and I don't know, hopefully soon. But yeah, they came through, and I was bummed that I didn't get to see them. But the Mars Volta show was the superior choice for me. If you get a chance to go see Mars Volta live, do it. If you get a chance to listen to their new record on any of the streaming services or anything like that, let me know what you think about it, because they have been one of these bands that like people hadn't liked their records. What I noticed about this this recent tour and this new record is that there was a lot of people that hated certain records from the past that have revisited them now and are like, I don't know why I hated that record so much. Mars Volta is one of these bands to me that I think for a lot of people, like, it takes a little bit of a try to be like, wow, this is good. And I've noticed too, like, it goes from like, I don't really like Mars Volta to like listening to a lot of Mars Volta to being like, they are a religious experience. And I don't want to make too much of the comparison there, because I know Cedric has had his is still currently in a struggle, a fight, a legal battle with the Church of Scientology. It's a whole nother long story, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about the new Mars Volta record. If you've seen them before, what did you think about them before? If you saw them on this tour, what were comparisons you had from other shows that you had seen, maybe, or maybe you only had seen like Omar's live or one of Omar's other side projects in the last 10 years or whatever. Let me know in the comments below. I had a good time talking about Mars Volta, but you know what? It's time. I've got a live jam for you. This is the second one with Pat. This is the third live jam that I am premiering on this channel. This individual, if you've looked at the channel, you see that on Mondays I upload these clips individually, these live jams. And this one's no different. On Monday, this will go up separately. But if you're here, thanks for being here. And you get the premiere of, I'm calling these New Pants jams. Before New Pants dissipates into the ether, you get to watch some of these jams and check out the new record when it comes out, and hopefully like a month. We'll see. That's not an official announcement, but coming soon. Hopefully this holiday season. All right, guys. Don't forget to check out wilddinosaur.com, like I've been saying all episode, and in the description below there is a link to donate to Planned Parenthood, because super important. Do your research. I'm just kidding. No, Planned Parenthood is great. They do so much positive healthcare stuff in a country that is slowly trying to kill you faster and faster, or slower and slower, one of the two, whichever one they decide, because whatever. All right, live jam, new pants live jam number 2. Let's do this. I'll see you guys next Wednesday.